The threat of losing something motivates more than the possibility of acquiring something of equal value. Hello to all viewers of my channel. That quote you just heard, it's pretty powerful, right? It's from Dr. Robert Cialdini, and it perfectly sets the stage for today's explainer. We're going to peel back the curtain and look at the architecture of persuasion, those invisible psychological triggers that guide our decisions, literally every single day, whether we know it or not. So here's our game plan. First, we'll figure out why our brains are always looking for the easy route. Then we'll dive into Cialdini's 6 principles, breaking them down into 2 easy-to-remember groups. After that, we'll get into the really important stuff, the line between persuasion and manipulation. And finally, I'll give you a simple toolkit to build up your own cognitive defense. Let's face it, we are swimming in an ocean of information. Our brains just don't have the bandwidth to carefully analyze every single choice we make. So to cope, they create these little mental shortcuts to make fast, pretty good judgments. It's a survival mechanism, really. And that brings us to the official term, cognitive heuristics. Think of them as rules of thumb for your brain. Now, they're super efficient, but they also create, well, backdoors. And smart persuaders know that if they can trigger the right heuristic, they can get us to say yes on autopilot, totally bypassing our logical thinking mind. All right, let's get into the first set of principles. These next 3 are all about how we're wired to connect with other people. They're like the unwritten rules of community, trust, and just belonging that we all follow without even thinking about it. First step is reciprocity. You know this one. It's that deep, gut-level social rule. If you do something for me, I owe you one. When someone gives us something, we feel this little psychological weight, this sense of debt, until we return the favor. Honestly, it's the glue that keeps societies working. So where do we see this? Oh, everywhere. Think about that free guide you downloaded right before you were asked to buy the full course. Or that extra mint the waiter brings with the bill. Studies have shown that little unexpected gift makes tips go way up. And then there's the brilliant door-in-the-face technique. Someone makes a huge request they know you'll say no to. Then they come back with their real, much smaller request. It feels like they're giving you a concession, and you feel this pressure to reciprocate their kindness by saying yes. Next, we've got commitment and consistency. We have this fundamental need to be seen as reliable and consistent, not just to other people, but to ourselves. Once we make a choice or take a stand on something, we feel this intense internal pressure to act in a way that matches that commitment. This is the secret sauce behind the classic foot-in-the-door technique. You start with a tiny, easy-to-say yes to request. It's kind of like hitting the like button on this explainer. That small yes makes you just a little bit more likely to say yes to a bigger request later on. It's also why public goals work so well. If you tell everyone you're running a marathon, you're going to feel pretty compelled to actually do it. And making you physically type your name is way more powerful than just clicking a box. It's an active commitment. The third principle in the social group is a big one. Social proof. When we're in a situation and we're just not sure what to do, what's our default? We look around to see what everyone else is doing. We assume if a bunch of people are doing something, it's probably the right thing to do. It's a safety instinct. Think reviews, testimonials, bestseller stickers. It's all social proof. And check this out. Here's just how insanely powerful it is. A study tried to get people to use less energy. They tried telling them they'd save money, they tried telling them it would protect the environment, and those worked a little. But you know what message blew them all away? Simply telling people most of your neighbors are saving energy. That's it. Social proof is at its absolute strongest when it comes from people we see as being just like us. Okay, let's shift gears to our second triad. If that first group was all about our social contracts, this next group is much more direct. It's about leveraging things like attraction, authority, and our deep-seated fear of loss to get us to act now. The liking principle is, well, it's beautifully simple. We just prefer to say yes to people we know and like. It's really that easy. This gets triggered by things like physical attractiveness, finding similarities, getting compliments. It's why companies use influencers you can relate to, and why a good salesperson will try to find some common ground with you right away. It just builds rapport and lowers our guard. Next up, authority. From the time we're kids, we're taught to respect and obey authority figures. This is so deeply wired into us that we often don't even need real authority to comply. Just the symbols of it. A uniform, a title like doctor, or even just fancy-looking equipment can flip that switch in our brains, making us just go along with it without question. And finally, the big one, scarcity. This is the engine that drives FOMO, the fear of missing out. The second we learn that something is limited, either in time or in number, it suddenly seems way more valuable to us. The simple thought of losing out on an opportunity is an incredibly powerful motivator that pushes us to act immediately.
You see this everywhere, right? Flash sales with a big countdown clock. Booking sites yelling, only 2 rooms left at this price. Exclusive members-only content. But, and this is a huge but, it's so important to remember this warning. If you use fake scarcity and your customers find out, you've destroyed their trust. And that trust is worth way more than one quick sale.
So this brings us to a really critical distinction. All of these principles, they're just tools. And like any tool, you can use them for good or for bad. Using them to shine a light on the genuine value of something, that's ethical persuasion. But using them to create a fake sense of value that isn't really there, that crosses the line into unethical manipulation. Let's just look at the difference. Ethical reciprocity is giving away a truly helpful free guide. Manipulation is sending an unwanted cheap gift just to make you feel like you owe them. Ethical social proof is showing real customer reviews. Manipulation is buying 1,000 fake ones. And ethical scarcity is a true limited edition product. Manipulation is that fake countdown timer that just resets every time you refresh the page. The bottom line is, manipulation might get you a win today, but it completely poisons the well for tomorrow. Okay, so knowing all this, how do you actually protect yourself? The point isn't to become a cynic who trusts no one. The point is to become aware. So let's arm you with your own personal cognitive defense system. It really just comes down to 3 simple steps. First, and this is the most important one by far, develop the habit of pausing. Just create a little bit of space between when you're asked for something and when you answer. That moment is all your rational brain needs to catch up to your gut impulse. Second, question the motive. Is this scarcity real? Is this person really an authority? Why are they being so nice to me? And third, analyze your own feelings. Ask yourself, do I actually want this thing, or am I just getting swept up in the fear of missing out? So, there you have it. The invisible architecture of persuasion is now visible to you. These principles are working all around us, all the time. But now that you know the code, they're not so invisible anymore. So my question for you is, which one of these principles do you think you'll notice first out in the real world today? Subscribe to the channel and like, and also suggest your topics for future videos in the comments.